Hey guys, this is Tom Box, and I'm gonna provide you guys with an update on the branded Despia deck that I've been playing so far. I've only really launched the initial build for you guys to kind of reference, and you guys already like took it apart and built your own deck already. But I've been playing it myself, my own updated version, and I'm gonna be sharing it with you guys. And I'm gonna update with Dimension Force since we got the sneak recently, and I've updated with more cards. So yeah, to be honest, it's really not that much changing. It's mainly about the playstyle that I've been adapting, and so I might incorporate a little bit of meta trend. And there's no real like combo video for this video because this deck is pretty self-explanatory. Try to build a bunch of fusions and kill your opponent as soon as possible. But with that being said, I'm going to be showcasing you guys my current build that I think I've only took one match loss so far over the past couple of tournaments. So I think this is going to be good advice for most people. And if you guys have anything else to add, feel free to leave it down in the comment section. I love to learn from you guys as much as you guys like to learn from me. And you know what? Don't forget to smash thumbs up, hit subscribe, ding notification bell. There's a giveaway for these things right now. I believe they are sleeves. Yeah, these are on Twitter. There's a giveaway. Link is in the description. And you guys can also get your hands on some of these stuff as well at MST.TV. And let's get to it. So what's the big change coming from Dimension Force? Well, honestly, not too much, but I can kind of elaborate on, where the trends are kind of moving forward to. Triple Alibur, still the same stuff. Nothing really changed there. We have Triple Fallen of Albaz. If you're only playing two and you're not playing the Brave package, Adventure package, then you should probably play the third one. Having this as a name automatically fixes some of the stuff, especially with patchwork, additional polymerization. You can push right through it and still develop the exact same board. So Fallen of Albaz, also with branded loss, this card becomes really, really difficult to negate. And you can even chew up some people's, I guess, barons. So that's really good. Triple Despian Tragedy, so you can get additional surges out of the deck. And it's just a high utility card in general and just reset some of your branded spells and traps. And as for the utility, Despian monsters, Despian Comedy, Dramaturge of Despia, and of course Ad Libitum. I kind of want to play two of this from time to time once I early banish it and I can't grind. When this is gone, it's really, really hard to grind. But Dramaturge, I kind of want to cut it from time to time, but it's okay. I mean, I've been doing really well at locals with this deck, so I can't really complain because every card has made its use, especially Comedy. If you've burned your Tragedy and you're playing Comedy, when you play your Branded Fusion, I do recommend trying to throw this card, especially if you want to play around stuff like Veiler or Imperm and you don't have Branded Lost on your side of the field. Then when they activate to negate your Lubellion, you chain this, get rid of your Lubellion, summon this onto the field, and therefore your effect's still going to go through because you're still going to shuffle it back and summon up Mirror Jade. That's what you should be doing. For additional utility, one Melcurier, one Incredible Ecclesia, and one Albion the Shrouded Dragon. I am wishy-washy about this one. I enjoyed this one as additional resources because once it's in the graveyard, you keep on cycling. So one copy is more than enough. And with the Triple Fawn of Albaz, the follow-up play with this card is just surprisingly good because you can just save it as like a last-ditch effort to fuse. Or if you open like with almost nothing, normal summoning out this card, just leaving on the board means that they have to eat a Fallen of Albaz fusion just in case. And Melcuria is something that you search with Branded Loss so that you can get yourself a hand trap negation or just some sort of monster effect negation in general. Edge Imps, this is where it highlights my poorness. I only have two Edge Imp chains, and I guess that's it. You want to dump this into the graveyard. Best cost to pay. I'm playing hand traps in this build. I'm playing Triple Ash just because I just need something to deal with Branded Fusion from time to time. And letting it resolve, it doesn't feel very good. And even, I guess, a copy of Fusion Destiny does kind of make a huge difference from time to time. That would be the main deck line of monsters. And now we're into the spell cards. Now this is the part where I don't actually own a third Patchwork. Would I play a third Patchwork? It's give or take. I played it online with a third Patchwork. Sometimes you just kind of don't need the extra copy, but it's just nice to have because you do want to open with the polymerization. Play it if you can. I can play two. I can get away with two so far, so not too much to lose there. Double polymerization for the Patchwork. Double Branded Loss. Some people only play one. I play the additional one because I just love seeing this. People say I'm a sack for having it, but I play two copies of it. And this gives me a little bit of siding space. We have one Despian Theater. Triple Branded Opening. I think this card is ridiculous and it's really strong. We have Triple Branded Fusion because it's one of the best openers and it's the most free card in the deck. Double Branded in red. Triple Super Poly because it's Triple Super Poly. I think this has been cemented as like one of the best ways to play. If you get stuck under Dimensional Barrier, then you can use these and set these to outplay your opponent anyway, because you don't have to fuse on your turn. These are great board breakers. This goes into Guardian Chimera, this can go into Mirror Jade, or anything really, and you can just crack boards all the same, which makes it so that even Dimension Barrier isn't even an auto lose anymore, so that's also pretty nice. One Foolish Burial to help us throw the Despian Tragedy into the graveyard, one Call by the Grave, and as for our 2 traps, we have one Branded Banishment. This is just super poly as a trap card, but it does come with the condition that you have to be able to revive a level 8 or higher fusion or a Despia monster from your graveyard, special summon it, then you can fusion a level 8 or higher fusion monster by using monsters on both sides, by banishing them. This is a non-targeting banish effect that could really kill someone. I kind of want to crank up the number of this. I even want to consider siding additional copies of Branded Banishment simply because it's just super poly. In a mirror match, this card will kill someone very, very easily, but be careful because some people do know how to put up the proper board when it comes to just fusing. And then there's also Branded Sword. This one is an idea I took from Pack. It's just really, really surprising that you can summon like 4 of these tokens if you already loaded your grave, and you can just like punch someone to death. You usually don't need 4. If you like use Masquerade on them, they're usually like already deducted by maybe like 18 or 24, and therefore just summoning 3 tokens can just wipe someone out because you traded everything on that interaction. And then during the Albion set, you set the Branded Sword. On your turn, you activate this, you just summon a bunch of dudes and just attack for game, and it's that's it. Like you can really shorten the game with this card. Surprisingly good. And also you can use it to retrieve some of the cards like Melcurier back into your hand. It's just a all well-rounded card. I was playing Retribution before, but it was only really adding like fusions that I can already get, and you can even get the fusions even easier now because of the stuff in the extra deck. For the extra deck, this package is already super tight, but we did manage to fit in the newest card, but we had to cut out our Red Eyes Dark Dragoon from previously. So starting off, of course, we have our Lubellion, 2 copies, so that you can cycle your Fallen Albaz and you keep your fusion cycle going. 2 Albions, typically thrown into the graveyard. Occasionally, you do fuse it out, just so they can go for a game, so you can do the double fusion, because this one doesn't restrict you from attacking. We have also Mirror Jade, Ice Dragon. This guy, I don't know. This guy's not a dragon, for one thing. Some people tried to fuse it off as a dragon. I'm like, no, this is a worm. I'm sorry. But yeah, this is your non-once per turn broken card. Of course, double Masquerade, just so they can deal damage enough and then pressure them so that they don't have enough effects to actually make a comeback. I play 1 Despia in the Coritis. This one, it was kind of strange, I have to say, because I didn't play this in my initial build because I'm like, what's the point of this card when you have Masquerade? But apparently this is one of the bodies you leave behind when someone tries to super poly you. Or when they try to use Fallen Albaz on you, you fuse this off, and then if they choose to fuse off your Coritis, you come back with your own Fallen Albaz and fuse their stuff off. So there's a lot of counterplay when it comes to this one. Some people kind of forget about that particular effect. So just remember, it's really important, because when you go into a mirror match, and I'm pretty sure 90% of you guys will go through a mirror match, sometimes this is a better choice than this one. If you can't go for a game, this is maybe the most defensive option you have. It's also quite useless on the board because you're not likely going to be able to reduce any attack to 0 when it comes to a mirror match, but it is there just so that you can fuse off your own card, like using a Branded in red versus their Fallen of Albaz. So next we have 1 Titanic Clyde, the Ash Dragon, just so that you can fuse off stuff with high attack. It's also kind of the only thing you can really make against, say, of Wondery's deck when they leave the Empen on board, and you can set a Fallen Albaz and then super poly it off, which is one of the more fun things to do, I would say. We have 1 copy of Alba Lunatus. I tried multiple copies, but there's just no real point. Unless you're facing a dragon threat, then don't throw this card out. Just leave it in there. It's like a security measure. Whenever they put up any sort of dragon threat, dragon link, you set 1 card. What are they going to do? They're going to bounce your 1 set card? They're probably not going to do that because they can't, and then you just send everything to the graveyard. Remember, this thing can be fused out or use the Cyber Dragon-esque effect, or to get like the Chimera Tech stuff out, because you can just send Fallen Albaz and all the dragon monsters on the field so that you can just summon this guy out. Really, really powerful stuff, and this guy cannot be fused off, which is why it's really important. If I'm playing this wrong and you can play multiple copies, you guys let me know down in the comment section, because that's something that I'm still working on. Haven't really found a lot of use for this card. It's nice to have though, because it definitely just poops on the Dragon Link matchup. And then for utility, I guess utility fusions, we have Despia and Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. But this card came, the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon came up a little bit more often thanks to the branded banishment. This card, just making a Starving Venom Fusion Dragon using your opponent's card is just one of the best feelings. It's pretty annoying for them. And then I played a pair of Guardian Chimera. I played one at one point, but it seems like I grind a little bit longer than I should. And the Guardian Chimeras typically dig into like, digs into my hand traps from time to time, like the Ash, the only Ash that I have. But it's really nice when you do dig into extenders when you have to make a follow-up. This is not the easiest thing to kill, especially with Poly in the grave. So this is kind of the run of my current deck. If there's any changes I would make, I'll let you guys know in the future. But yeah. So did the end combo change? Well, we can take a look. The Albion's now going to activate, and with the Albion activating, you have a choice. Your choice is going to be between these three. Which one are you going to choose? If you don't have branded in red, all right, you should probably go for branded in red if you're going to go for a Chimera play. Chimera play is really good, and this is going to let you recycle this effect multiple times. This is already live, and you get to zero out some effects, but this is mainly as super poly bait. Because they're not likely going to fuse this off. They're going to avoid fusing this as much as possible. But you can also put branded banishment. So top 2 priority would be these two, depending if you know the matchup. If it's a mirror match, I think this one holds just more value in general, in my opinion, because you can revive this card. You can, if this gets super polyed off, okay, it gets put into the graveyard, they summon out their own Mirror Jade. You can kind of do the same thing back to them. Where you activate this, you target your own Mirror Jade to summon it back, and then you fuse off their cards off of the field, and then you can put your own Masquerade back onto the field, and you're just doing the same thing. So you're just playing a super poly build. So if you know it's a mirror match, I feel like this has a bit more value, because if you went first, this is probably the card to go. This one lets you, I guess, pop cards, draw cards, which is better for a generic matchup. And if you're going for the kill shot, then if you're going for kill shot, then go for the branded sword, because this can, if you look at your graveyard, you're starting to load up a lot of names, and if you get 3 names in the grave, that's 7,500 damage, which can just lead to lethal, especially if you go for a Masquerade Dragon. So these are the little points that you should kind of pay attention to. Be aware of what chain link you're activating stuff. You probably should wait for the words of on resolution, branded in red, especially with branded loss. You got to maintain total advantage, because the mirror match is usually won based off of the difference of who has like their branded loss live at the time, because you can turn off someone's entire chain, which is going to be part of the ruling video I'm going to be talking about in the near future, probably within this week. So this is kind of the rundown. Which one do you go for? Mirror matches, or if you know there's like a dark matchup, then banishment is really, really solid. Consider it just a monster reborn with a super poly attached to it. But branded in red will give you more control if you need to cycle more cards and gain, or maybe removal of back row cards. Then branded in red is probably the way to go, and branded sword is just the way to go for the kill. So, you know, if you're not too confused. And remember, this guy can bring back a Mel Mercurier back into your hand, as well as other things that name Fallen of Albaz. So there's always advantages to everything here. You just need to know which situation you're going into. So it's not as linear as people will say this deck is. And that's all I got for this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash a thumbs up button. And we're on our way to 100K, so every single one of you guys help. If you guys have been here before, I would appreciate that sub button click. And don't forget to ding that notification bell, because you guys want to stay up to date, especially with ruling stuff. I'm going to be posting a new ruling video regarding the past ruling video, and give you guys some update on some of the more common misplays with branded, and give you guys in the quiz form, of course, the quiz form. And then don't forget to check out MST.TV and check out the link in the description for the giveaway for these awesome pieces. There's gonna be, I think, 4 different winners, and each one gets a different pack, so that's gonna be really fun, and that's on Twitter. So that's all I got for this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.